All right, we made it on in.
That's a lot of water and aluminum.
So,
Holy smoke.
Yup. And this is our first day of our second game. Or, sorry, our first game of our second day in this tournament, right? Correct?
Yep. I always step on your intro, don't I?
No, you're fine, because I'm honestly not as worried about it for these. Mostly because I'm really tired and I had a super long day yesterday. Anyways, what are you seeing on this map?
We got an iron aluminum tile, which is interesting.
We do have one of those, yes. That's
expansive colony found.
That's hard to use right, almost. Like, it's as weak as iron aluminum gets, basically.
Yep. Oh, and just Blue sat on top of it. That's...
Oh, Blues. That's fantastic. I'm alright with that. Well, he went expansive. He went expansive, and he wanted more iron. The big thing was, like, you need some aluminum, right? Oh, man, I think I've had that going in the background this whole time. That's fine.
But you don't need a ton. I don't know. You never know. Iron and aluminum could pop up in value at some point during the game. It seems like worthwhile to leave that tile there just in case you need it. But
yeah, potentially. And it can get kind of weird. But the thing was, like, you take the iron aluminum tile, and then you're almost obligated to take the high aluminum tile. And then you've got like one left over for iron. You're only pulling in 3 iron a second. That's not quite enough sometimes. Like,
yeah. Well, it's funny. Those iron aluminum tiles used to be considered the god tiles, but I guess they're just not.
Well, they're still amazing. It's just that was basically as weak as they get, right? That was pretty bad as they come. And I also really like that Blues is kind of using this to cover the Expansive's weakness, or at least what I consider to be one of their big weaknesses these days, which is its slow first upgrade.
Sure. GameSlayer just grabbed a high silicon at level 2, which I like. It's the only one on the map.
All right, good stuff. No, that's definitely something you love to see from scavengers. Just identify. Usually, or at least frequently, there's kind of one less available resource than all the others. And scavengers frequently get the first claim on that. Because robots, even if they upgrade first, which they frequently do, they've got to make steel. They just don't have a choice.
Yep. It's interesting though, there's no robotics in this game. And I think people have been used to always there being 1 or 2 robos around, which means that I think the life support stuff might get a lot higher than people are used to seeing.
Yeah, that definitely could have an impact. Not as much power being consumed, maybe.
Yeah, especially
just because
with no
with 2
scientific
scavengers and no scientist. But Corwin's actually already building power, so that's going to fight against it a little bit. He has established himself as a scavenger with a high water, a high aluminum, and then 3 carbon, and then he's building a little power, and I don't mind that too much, so he should be able to move forward in this game reasonably well.
Yeah, he's looking alright.
I'll just be keeping an eye on him as a newer player in particular through the course of this game.
GameSlayer's the only one building glass early on, which puts him in a really good position.
Oh, and I love the double glass furnace early if you can get it down. Like, GameSlayer has...
Each are making $50 a second, and I wouldn't be surprised if the most valuable tiles on the map. Although interesting, those carbons are making almost as much.
Yeah, actually, I think the big part of that is because, well, GameSlayer, first of all, he didn't take an overly ridiculous amount of carbon. These guys don't have great carbon. And on top of that, Corwin, instead of like knocking that price down in order to make sure he had bought up his glass, which he has done at this point, so I'm rather impressed for somebody who has only started playing the game a few days ago. He built the wind turbines that was keeping that carbon price a bit higher, and everybody's almost neck and neck as we move into level 3 here.
Yep.
I like it. It's good stuff.
Corwin might actually make some money off power.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It'd be interesting. It looks like everyone else. Okay, I see this geotherm. Blues is throwing down a geotherm, which is normal for him. But that's the only other power I see. So power could be very good for Corwin.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like the geotherm for Blues. I almost like to see another one before too long, if at all possible. But he is a little out of claims right now, and a little low on cash to really use that auction. All right. Corwin set himself up in a pretty good spot to make money. It should be noted
farms on the map right now. Too many farms. Corwin should have gone into reactors.
Everybody loves to go farms, and You just gotta, in an FFA, watch out for that, because if you can be the one guy,
Yep.
the one guy who puts down reactors, oh man.
Yeah,
That
that's
money
one of the
is so
huge
good.
differences between 1v1 versus 4-player. I mean, a 1v1, even if you both go into the same resource, well, you're just sort of it's just sort of knocking each other out. It's no big deal, really.
Yeah.
Whereas you can really get an edge at a 4-player by being the one guy to do something.
Exactly. Now, I will hand it to GameSlayer. I don't mind his farms, especially. His farms, I like, because he had gone glass furnaces anyway.
Sure.
And so it's a nice, easy thing for him to do, to transition into the farm. Everybody else, it's far more of a detour, it's far more of a sidestep, and you can see that GameSlayer, with these series of moves from the glass to the farms, has set himself up in a much better position than all the rest of them.
Yeah, the price of glass is still quite solid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and, I mean, it's like, it's what? These guys 8, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 80 glass? 8 an extra 80 glass over there upgrading. I mean, that's just... That's a ridiculous amount.
Corwin has his quarries off.
I think he was trying to make money from power,
but that's not...
they're still not quite consuming enough. Maybe it's just, yeah, it is a little...
I mean, I guess technically the fact that he's actually making money from power, it is almost justifiable, but it's just...
Almost, but not quite.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, Blues managed to push HQ level 4. No big surprise why he got attacked with that EMP.
Yep.
I have to imagine that was GameSlayer, although I'm not 100% sure about that.
Oh, I love the invisible hacker raid going up by GameSlayer.
Yep, that's going to be good stuff.
I
always love to see a hacker ray.
Is he going to hack glass or carbon? Glass, I would think.
I would expect him to hack glass if he's going to hack anything. That definitely makes the most sense to me, and it is going to be a glass short on the way.
Blues is also getting into silicon. I wouldn't be surprised to see GameSlayer try to grab that other medium silicon. Just to really lock it down.
Yeah.
It should be noticed that Zuzani does have a source of silicon available to him if he wants it.
Oh yeah, under those farms. Definitely worth paying attention to.
All right, what are we hacking?
All right.
He's hacking... Yep, hacking glass. And he's got 260 saved up. So he's in a very good position right now.
Oh yeah, he's in a great spot. Maybe got a little over-enthusiastic on the buy. Maybe doesn't have quite enough silicon for this, but it should still work out. It looks like Zuzani has now made it to HQ level 4. And my concern about GameSlayer is my usual concern about GameSlayer.
The debt?
It's sea levels of debt already. I mean, it's just...
You think he could have afforded to squeeze... Oh, he does have a geotherm.
He does have a geotherm down, but because he's got so much stuff up, especially, frankly, that hacker array, it's not enough. Like, that's something a lot of people forget about, is just the sheer power cost of those buildings.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they're odd because they only use it while you're doing something. So you kind of flop around, but...
that should make power irrelevant quickly.
I'm guessing Blues, but hard to say.
Yeah, hard to say. I mean, I could easily see Blues trying to just poke that in a little bit. Did the glass short go off? Did he get that done before he got EMP'd, or did he just cancel it? And...
No, it's not. It's got like 10 seconds left.
Okay, it wasn't even canceled.
So
It's just waiting.
Slow it down.
Yeah, I'm not sure that matters all that much though. Long term, it's just a small hit.
I can't believe no one else is making glass at this point, though.
Nobody else wants the glass. Nobody else wants it.
And it's not like it's not profitable. Well, I guess the issue is silicon, basically.
The issue is silicon, yes. And the thing is, GameSlayer, he got away with his double glass furnace early in particular because he had the one high silicon tile on the map. That makes life so easy.
Yeah. Corwin's got some cash. Look at that.
Well, yeah, that'll happen when you actually are the one to move into reactors first, which I believe he was.
Yeah.
Now, those died very quickly because everybody on this map is like, man, water resources are cool, but I don't know if I actually want water. And while that's slowly been kind of correcting itself, people still, I don't think, have compensated for it completely. And now almost everybody is sitting around with these turned off electrolysis reactors or electrolysis reactors that are just burning money.
Yeah.
In addition to the farms, and nobody took enough water on seeing that this might happen.
Yeah. Blues is making a ton of power. He should be using that circuit overload. Oh, he has bought one. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, no, and it does
Might be a little late, unfortunately, for it to work properly. Because, I mean, Blues picked up the superconductor, right? We saw he had the 2 glass furnaces and the Geo, but that circuit overload you would have wanted to see a lot earlier, maybe on some of these steel mills of Zuzani in particular.
Wow, got a lot of buildings turned off. They're lucky there's no network virus in this game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Water has finally come back down.
I got Bradbury at 100% on Blues. I mean, GameSlayer's at 100% on Blues.
I think GameSlayer is 100% on everybody except Corwin, who is defending
Probably.
himself, but is still HQ level 4, and so that's kind of the price you pay for that.
Yep.
Definitely not a situation you really want to be in. GameSlayer says mine. Alright, I mean,
How
he
far
can
is
push
from
himself
D?
to
What do you
that.
think?
I
146,000?
I don't know. I don't know all the breakpoints as well as I need to.
I don't
He
know
can't
either.
be that far away.
I
Man,
mean,
I was
this
going
is
to
easy
ask
go
you,
for-
like, what specifically the breakpoints are for debt relative to assets.
Yeah.
Is it like 10% for D? Is it 10% debt relative to assets?
I don't know. I mean, he's almost there. That doesn't sound that high, but
It doesn't, but on the other hand, you know, he's already at that C rating, and maybe... Who knows? In any case, he has decided to go after Zuzani here, which is a nice, easy, soft target, so I'm not surprised by that at all. He wanted Blues. Knocking Blues
man, he's
out would have
almost
been
there.
very
He better get-
valuable.
Blues better buy some Zuzani.
Not happening. GameSlayer gets it done.
Good move.
All right.
All right.
First one
GameSlayer's
down.
been on record saying you should not be the first to buy with Destroy Buyout, so let's see how this plays out.
Well, and last night, I missed the first game, but I saw that second game, even with that early buyout that I believe Tozar managed to pick up. PB Head still was the one who closed it out. So,
Yep. Well, in my opinion, Tozar did not play, did not use his early advantage. Did you see that scientific location? Oh,
Yeah,
it was
I
a
did.
dream.
it was gross. It was gross.
Yeah, and but Tozar, in my opinion, did not use the location particularly well. I do believe that if PB had gotten that first buyout, he would have easily won the game. So, but anyway, we'll see what GameSlayer does with this. He's got all his abilities up quickly. He's used those extra claims for chem labs, which are making a ton of money, and 2 engineering labs. No, wait, no, sorry, 2 hacker arrays. Wow. So
Yeah.
does he have 3 hacker arrays up?
More hacker arrays,
What's
which...
he, they can't hack the same thing. What is he even planning to do with all those?
Well, one of them's probably going to hit food, although it might be too late for that by the time it does.
Yeah, I
And-
mean, he's the only person in chems and glass, so that's pretty obvious. I'm
Yeah,
not
now
sure
everybody else is hopping into food, so that makes things harder. But
I'm not
chems
sure
and
what the-
glass can work.
Oh wait, Corwin is into glass, so I don't really
Oh,
know
yes,
what
he
he's-
is.
I don't know what he's going to do with 3 hacker arrays, but I
I
guess
mean-
we're going to find out.
He can always move...
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Food surplus. Okay.
That's a start. And a chem shortage.
Yeah.
But still, I almost feel like I favor Blue's decision here. We've never really looked at off-world prices so far this game. We can see that food is doing well at 515. So it's no big surprise to see Blue's going into food, getting those engineering labs down. He's actually also got a hacker array going up.
Yep.
So he's getting that food researched just to try and make sure he can make use of the off-world later in the game, one has to imagine.
You think you should be pushing to buy some of GameSlayer while the stock price is still reasonable?
I mean, that is definitely something he could do. On the other hand, I'm nervous for him about the fact that he hasn't managed to establish an off-world yet.
Yeah.
That's something you really would have liked to push to do as an expansive player by now.
Got that invisible tile right there. He can build it if he wants to.
He can. And this is the interesting bit with all these hacker arrays going up. Steel and carbon shouldn't have ever been a huge problem in getting an off-world down, although it looks like carbon might be a pain because Corwin isn't making any of it anymore.
Right.
But that electronics price was being quite difficult to get over for quite some time. But Blues has managed to push to that hacker, or sorry, to that Offworld. But he still has to be worried about GameSlayer with just his massive hacker array plays.
I love this. He's shorting electronics, and he's not even making electronics. He doesn't care. He's basically he doesn't want anyone to build an awful market.
Nobody else is making electronics either, so it's like, you know, whatever works. And the thing I like about the multiple hacker array play, no, you can't hack the same thing, but you can basically still hack as many different markets that are open as you can, and you just do them all right in a row. You hack one, and then like 20 seconds later you hack another, and 20 seconds later you hack another, and you just bounce all your money between them, and keep using that hacker rate and multiply your cash faster and faster and faster.
Blues is getting into electronics, which is nice. He has the Offworld market up.
GameSlayer's at the 100%.
But GameSlayer is at 100%. I mean,
he's at the 100%. I don't even know if he knows that at this point. If he's looked, if he cares, maybe he's probably waiting on his shortage to actually take effect, although that's 45 seconds away.
I don't even know.
And there's a surplus coming.
Does that mean he can shift buyout Blues? This is kind of an unusual situation. We see 100% when there's still stock remaining.
I think he can.
I think that's what it means.
Yep, there it goes.
Oh, wow. A shift buyout.
That's going to do that. All right.
Well.
All right. Well, now we've got just GameSlayer and Corwin left. GameSlayer definitely going against his statements earlier in the week about Destroy Buyout, and well, it worked out for him quite well so far.
Yeah, we're gonna have to egg him on this one. I'm sure GameSlayer is a bit upset. He wants to win, but he wants to win the way he predicted that you should win. Destroy Buyout.
Yeah. No, it is interesting. Do you see that carbon price at this point?
No,
I don't even know how that happened.
Wow, I guess they just weren't producing enough. That's weird. I mean, Corwin turned off his switched over to farms,
right?
So.
For a long time, and he has still been trying to rotate around, and I think that's hurting him quite badly. I don't think it made the difference this game. I think that triple hacker array was absolutely hilariously effective.
For GameSlayer.
No, definitely. Those are just losing all kinds of cash.
It turned one of them off. I think if he missed the shift key.
Yeah, probably just that. Now, there are still two people in this game, but I've got to say, GameSlayer's still got, I believe, one engineering lab, 2 hacker arrays, and plenty of territory left. And on top of that, he's making carbon, and I love this play. He just froze the food. It's like, I don't care that you're not making that much money from it. What matters is now you can't get carbon, and now you can't build buildings.
Yeah, those are the only really important tiles left on the map.
Exactly, it's those carbon tiles. And so that, I think, that should be, assuming GameSlayer plays the rest of it out correctly, enough for him to lock it up, but we'll just have to see exactly how he does all that. Also, GameSlayer, I should point out, using the classic GameSlayer strategy of, if I own all of my opponents, or if I just keep buying people, then I never have to pay down my debt.
300,000 debt. That's
not even a thing. 12% interest, whatever. If you don't end the game like approaching D levels of debt, you probably did something wrong.
Yeah.
Executed this strategy poorly. Yeah, you did. Look at those chem labs you had just sitting there burning money for so long.
Oh, now they're all off.
They are all off, yes.
Doesn't want to delete them. But
chems are $69. They're $69. He could delete one and put down an Offworld. He could just get his electronics production ramped up a little bit. I mean, carbon's down to 54. It's time. All right.
So this is maybe the flip side of the Destroy Buyout, which is that at this point, I would prefer GameSlayer to be able to clean up this game as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Right? So this is maybe not what GameSlayer intended, but this to me is a bit of the negative side of Destroy Buyout in that you do actually want the steamroller at this point. Steamroller, snowball, whatever the metaphor is.
I was wondering if there was any value to more of an immediate reward, and this is something I actually talked to GameSlayer about a little bit earlier today, more of an immediate reward to a kill in a Destroy Buyout situation.
Such as what?
Just as a basic, like, we were discussing a couple different possibilities. One of the ones that came up was this idea of an advanced building just kind of being awarded to the player. That sort of thing. Just something you can use to go ahead and make money now and not have to completely rebuild your territory, you know?
You mean you get like a free offer market or something?
I mean, if you wanted to go to that extreme, you can. But even something as simple as, here's a hacker array, here's an engineering lab, especially the hacker array.
Yeah. To me, a lot of it is going to come down to questions of, like, not making the whole system more complicated than it needs to be.
Yes, and that is important.
Yeah, and that, to me, like, by default, unless there's a real strong argument for Destroy Buyout, I would prefer to stick with the original rules because they're just simpler.
It's true.
It's what everyone would assume to happen. So we need to see a complete, you know... I know everyone's very worried about Destroy Buyout, but I want to see how it plays out because it still needs to justify itself, in my opinion. Like, to me, Majority Buyout has definitely justified itself. So it's just, in Beta 7, it's just going to be the default. It will not even be an option anymore. But Majority Buyout is something I am just watching.
Yeah. And we'll see how it all pans out. Majority Buyout is interesting. We'll have to see how it in particular
I like how
interacts
it
with
creates
FFAs.
Multiple tension points within the same game.
Yes. That is definitely the best part about it. And also, you know, as long as you've got players around who understand they need to be able to defend other players, potentially.
Yep.
Which is kind of an easy thing to get. If you're playing an FFA, to some degree, it's an easier thing to get. If you're playing an FFA and you see, oh, that guy's base is getting destroyed.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what we saw went wrong this game. Right?
Yeah.
That's how GameSlayer won this game. Is nobody defended Susani.
Yeah, nobody at all. I don't know if anybody was even in position to, but yeah.
That's the question. Could Blues have done something about that?
Yeah, and I think the big thing there is Blues went for the long-term engineering lab play rather than the short-term hacker array play.
Right.
And so that can definitely make it difficult to have those funds on hand to actually get something done. Take a look at GameSlayer's lab real quick. A little carbon, a little chems.
Why is he not buying? He's got $400,000. Why is he not buying? Okay, finally.
He's working on it. Just getting there.
Alright.
There you go. He's got that 5th in himself. That should find 6 in himself. I don't care at this point.
No, he just wanted to get to 50%, basically.
Slowly, but surely. Making absolutely certain that he doesn't allow Corwin kind of an angle back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. There's all those weird situations where you have no liquid cash, you know, and then someone makes a run at you. So, I mean, he had no reason to hurry the victory.
Exactly. No reason to take a silly risk here and risk giving up game number 1 for sure. I mean, we've seen that backfire on people before. They just try and make that push. They can't quite get there. I still like this though. This was a victory without off-world markets for GameSlayer if he can manage to pull it off soon.
Yep.
Corwin hasn't managed to get to any either. He also, in fact, has an engineering lab down, which has done a little work. It's done a little work. I don't know if anybody told Corwin that there's another game after this. At least one, you know?
Yeah, I assume he probably knows, but... GameSlayer might be trying to make an argument here that the offer market needs to be boosted, maybe.
Maybe so. I mean, the hacker array is a strong tool if you can use it appropriately. Now, I gotta say, spies were available this game, guys.
Yeah.
And I think Blues tried to do a decent job against GameSlayer, but there's always that thing where the hacker array, as long as you're a competent player, can almost always just kind of be used to turn money into more money. And I think that's always going to be true unless there was a situation where you couldn't just exchange resources for money on a whim, right?
Yeah, well, when you get to the end of the game, right, you got to figure out some way to turn your money into more money. That can mean an off-world market, that can mean a hacker array, or it can mean, are the prices on World just so high that Engineering Lab is good for you, right?
Yes.
Those are basically the 3 paths to victory.
Exactly.
And GameSlayer was unchallenged in some of his, it's definitely unchallenged in Glass for a long time, which was weird, so he took advantage of it.
For sure. Now, I could go into that in more detail, but I think with how long these series could potentially run, it would be good to hop into game number 2 fairly quickly.
Yep.
The one thing I will comment on is that $3.2 million of purchases for GameSlayer compared to the $4.9 million of sells.
Wow, that's a lot of...
So, well, that's what you do with a hacker array or 3.
It's a lot of back and forth. That's called leverage, I think, in the financial community.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and hop on out of there, and I'll get the next one hosted.